There we go.
It's a race car, PT.
Double-sided tape off. Let's see it pops out.
And it's working. So I downloaded their app. Oh my God, look at this guy.
Come on. Woo!
Welcome back to our K-swapped NC Miata build, where today we're going to make some changes to the setup because we struggled with it a little bit at the track, although it was still very good. Plus, we're going to add some cool factor to the car with a whole bunch of carbon goodies, and we've got a special surprise for you guys at the end. But we also have a special announcement to make that we are now an official Canadian distributor for K-Power Industries, because we loved this K-swap into the Miata, the NC Miata, so much that we thought, how can we help our fellow Canadians buy this kit in a way that isn't confusing and isn't as expensive as it can be when you get your shipping and brokerage fees, especially the brokerage fees from, say, FedEx or UPS. As you may know, as a Canadian who's bought parts from the States before, when it crosses the border, you're kind of at their mercy in terms of what brokerage fee they charge you. They might charge you 50 bucks, they might charge you $500. So by becoming a Canadian distributor, we're gonna be able to sell you everything from K-Power Industries. We're only gonna have the K-swap kit for the NC and the FRS on the website initially, as well as some supporting mods for those two swaps. But if there's anything on their site that you see that you want, just send us an email and we will get you an accurate price quote on it that does away with all of the nightmares associated with bringing parts across the border. So if there's anything that you want from K-Power Industries, use the link in the description below to go to our website where you can contact us there and we will import anything you want. However, we are stocking their parts here now, including the swap kit for this car. Starting up front here, we have this front lip from Carbon Miata. All this stuff's finally arrived from them, and the fit looks good on it. So taking a closer look at how this lip mounts up, it's basically a replica of the Club front lip, but the Club one uses like these studs that attach to the lip, and then you drill holes here and it like pops in. This Carbon Miata lip doesn't come with that solution. So it's got these mounting points here, but no way to like fasten a bolt or a stud or something to it to fasten it to the bumper. So we're gonna have to take a look at how we can go about making this work. So at first we thought, okay, they made these at least 3 of the 5 mounting locations along the edge of the lip with a slot in it so you could like slide a bolt in there. But then, you drill a hole and you put a nut on there, there's nothing to prevent this from spinning. So like, how are you going to tighten it down? Because you can't get a wrench in there. Then Pete creatively went to the stash and he found these like slide-on style nuts, which are designed really more for this type of you can even see there's like a square in the molding there, which made us think, oh, this style of clip is meant to go on there. And then we thought, you know what, why don't we just do that at all 5 locations? And that way we don't have to worry about like bonding a stud in there or something.
All right, I've got a little bit of masking tape out here, painter's tape, and you can't mark this properly. There's no way to figure out exactly where this hole goes. So I'm gonna do my best and put a little bit of paint on here, as such, like that. And now, hopefully I can line this up, get this up as high as I can. Push it on here. Let's see.
Oh yeah.
There we go. So now, we're gonna drill a hole there and hope that that is where it needs to go. And if this one works, then we can kind of like move our way around. But when I originally saw this lip, I was like, oh, we'll be done in 20 minutes. And of course, here we are now. It just takes an hour or 2. We'll see. There we go.
It's a race car, PT.
Well, it's a race car, but it's still a beautiful race car. I don't want to have to, for off here, then you now have to repaint it. Or if you ever want to go to splitter, there's going to be this hole here.
Yeah.
Finally managed to get this thing in place, and the fitment on it is actually really good. Just a small little minor gap on this side that could be tightened up, but I'm not going to complain about it considering what I've seen in the past. It's really good. The one thing I don't love is in the bottom here, they want us to secure the carbon piece to the bumper here, and you can see it's not good. It feels like it's just going to put a bunch of pressure on it, and I have to drill these out to try to put the factory little like plastic clips back in. So I'm not sure what we're going to do about that or whether we're even going to touch it. I think I'm going to end up drilling it out. And in the meantime, while I was doing this, because this was taking so much time, Dave's got, you can see the stands out because he's doing something with the suspension that he will tell you about in a moment. I have also gone down a little bit of a rabbit hole. The amber corner lights on this vehicle. They're just such an eyesore at this point, so I've pulled them out. I'm going to paint them black because this is a track car now. We don't really need these for the streets, so I said, let's just get rid of the eyesore.
If you watched the previous episode, you'll recall that the car was very low. It had, what's the right word, sagged? I guess sagged is the word we tend to use to explain when a car settles on its springs and it just loses ride height from the initial setup. Not unusual for that to happen. This car definitely sagged more than typical, but it does have those helper springs in there, which might contribute to it. I don't really know, but in any case, we couldn't even get a close to a finger in there. Like there was no wheel well gap at the track, and we were having some rubbing as a result of that. So I've raised it back up to where I initially set it up to, which is close to 2 fingers, not a scientific measurement.
To match the carbon up front, we are going away from the OEM. I think this is an NC3, you know.
Diffuser, I think?
Yeah, something like that. And then we are gonna be replacing it with the carbon Miata piece that I think is gonna look pretty nice. And the fitment looks like it's going to be pretty good. However,
just like the front?
more installation woes to a certain extent. So they provided basically self-tapping screws. So these holes that are here, you can see do not line up with the existing holes, which I don't really understand why. And then to make matters even worse, this screw isn't long enough. It's like, what is this screw for that they supplied? Like, look it, that's not even gonna make it through there.
Maybe they go through the one layer, but then it won't make it.
But then it won't make it in here, DP. So that's just gonna hold on.
Yeah.
You can see, like, you need double the length of the screw to kind of make it go through there.
Wow.
You know, they did supply double-sided tape that will run along here, but that's not gonna hold this thing up. So I'm gonna do a little bit of head scratching. I've put some 3M tape on the side that is going to make contact here. And before I start drilling any holes or doing anything, I figure we might as well mount it up with the 3M tape. I'm just gonna do this.
Going full send, all right.
Going full send, forget it. Let's see.
Close your eyes.
Yeah.
Cough twice.
Yeah.
Slap it on there.
That's right. All right, let's see here. Now, if it was that easy, that would be great. But odds are this would fly right off on our first track event. So next step is to secure this properly. Stash is always coming through. Check out that screw bolt. Didn't we have this conversation before, DP?
It's a bolt, I
It's
think,
technically a bolt. It is a bolt because
Yeah.
it has a nut on the other side. So even though I like to call this a screw because of the head.
Yep.
And what I'm doing here is I'm basically drilling through here first. You can hear I'm into the heat shield and then passing this through. Now comes the fun part. I'm gonna put a washer on here first. Oh no. Come on. Okay. Washer's on. Now, a tiny little 8mm. It has to go on here next. Attempt 1.
Put it across. No.
No. Coming in with the wrench this time. Let's see.
Yes.
I think it's in there.
All right.
Let's see here. If this starts turning, we're good. Yes. We are in. Okay. So that means I now have to do this, I think 1,
4 more times.
2, 3 more. Yeah. 4 more times here. And then should have this on. Now to finish this up, we can't leave these stainless steel bolts looking the way they look. So the old paint marker here, you can see, seems to do a good job of concealing it, right, TP?
Yeah, blacks it out nicely.
Look at that, there you go. And this diffuser is pretty neat. It certainly gives it, like, it protrudes a little bit, which I like, and has more of like an actual like swoop down. Finish off our carbon rear end here. We do have a spoiler on for the trunk, excuse me. However, we have to remove the factory one here, and I think the best way to do this is a little bit of heat. I should be able to lift this up. Heat certainly goes a long way. You can see it's starting to lift up. I'm just gonna come through here. double-sided tape off. You can see it pops out. And now we kind of have to clean all this off, but we do have a solution for this. So one way to do this is use your fingers. Man, Dave, you're...
Got that thick Irish skin.
I guess so, but you're just doing it the manual labor way.
That's it, yeah.
Do I need to show them what the right quick way to do this is?
You will, because there's still lots of glue here.
This is what the pros use, people. 3M. What do they call this? I think this is called a adhesive remover.
Yeah,
pad
disc or something like that. Yeah.
But this is actually quite good because it makes easy work of it. You can see just like that. And then you can wipe this off. And then what you do, like in this situation here, this is where, you know, Dave used his fingers, which is the right way to go. And then you're just left with a little bit. And you come in and then you run it over. You can see that wheel did a fantastic job, and we have prepped the surface here with some rubbing alcohol. We've got the 3M tape on our spoiler, which is also a carbon Miata piece, the duckbill one. We figured this is the way to go. No big wang right now. We're gonna keep it street spec. That is on there. And yeah, it looks good. I like it, I do. Nice little piece of carbon to finish off what is going to be carbon up front, carbon in the rear, and a nice little carbon diffuser. I like it.
All right, time for our first test fit with these new RaceQuip 6-point FIA/SFI certified racing harnesses. So these are a proper motorsports grade harness that's certified for any type of sanctioned motorsports event you're going to compete in. And since we do plan to enter this car in the occasional motorsports event, we wanted to have an FIA rated belt in here. Plus 6 points is a lot safer, gives a lot more security than say the old 4 points that we had in here before. So adjusting the belts is always a little bit of a time-consuming job, but you can see I'm in the ballpark here, and I like these big beefy pull downs they give on the shoulder straps here, PT. These are really nice. They've got good ones on the lap belt that I can't get at right now because there they go. Oops. Apparently I didn't finish the install on this side, everybody, but we'll snap that in there. We'll get it adjusted. But overall, I'm really happy with the way these feel. And by the way, I went with the 2-inch shoulder straps. You can also get 3-inch. I like the 2-inch because it fits my Hans device properly. And you can see it goes up to a 3-inch around the cam lock down here, which just gives you more contact on your body and just holds you in there nice and securely. So if you're looking for harnesses, check out RaceQuip at holly.com. If you watched our track test video, you'll know we had a mystery clunk happening in the rear end, and we did a nut and bolt check. We couldn't find where it was coming from, but when I went to adjust the ride height, I noticed we have contact happening up here on the outer shock tower area. And that is happening both with the tire and actually the inside of the rim. And I actually got an email, or actually it wasn't an email, a message on Instagram from a Miata guy saying, how did you make these 17 by 9.5 plus 47s fit without rubbing? And I was like, bro, these things don't rub, they're mint, they're perfect. Then we've discovered they're not mint, they do rub, and obviously the Miata community knew about that. If these were a higher offset, a lower offset, then we wouldn't have this issue, and we could fix that with a wheel spacer, or maybe less camber would fix it, but then we might get into clearance issues on the fenders. So we've come up with a solution that is gonna fix this clearance issue, and it's also gonna give us a stronger wheel, and maybe even a better looking wheel. Let's show you that now. And here we have it, Koenig's new forged F3S wheel. They actually have another forged wheel in their lineup. This is a brand new product from Koenig, the first time they've ever offered a forged wheel. So we're very excited to show these to you and run them on this car. And this is a 17x9 plus 40. So we should have the clearance we need in the wheel wells, and it's still an excellent width for those 245s that we're running on here. And obviously with a forged wheel, we're saving a bunch of weight and gaining a bunch of strength and deformability. So these are actually almost 2.5 pounds lighter than the wheels we're taking off. These are 17 pounds in a 17x9, and these are a 17x9.5 with a, what was it, 19.4 pounds. So almost 2.5 pounds, and obviously with all the advantages of forged and this really nice satin charcoal finish, I think it's gonna look absolutely stunning on this car. Bam, and there you have it. Man, do these things ever look good. I liked the old Weds. I think they're a nice looking wheel too, but these are a huge step up, I think.
Color DP.
Color,
So
the
good.
style. There's so many nice details, the cutouts here in the spokes, and that's the beauty of a forged wheel, is because it's so strong, you can remove material in places where you couldn't with a non-forged technology, save the weight and still have all of the strength you want. In fact, forged wheels are so strong that they will deform before they crack. So in a motorsports environment, for example, where you're hitting curbs at 100 miles an hour, you want a wheel that's gonna deform and before it cracks, because if you have a wheel that cracks and fails, you've just written off your car. So it's much cheaper to fix or replace a wheel than it is to replace a whole car. And that's a big reason why in a motorsports environment, a lot of guys don't mind spending a bit more money to step up to a forged wheel like this. And again, because it's forged and so stiff, it gives the tire a very supportive base, so it allows the tire to work better. And with weight reduction, you get better performance out of the suspension, you get better performance out of the brakes. It's just all win, the only downside being that cost factor. So since this is a track car and we don't need a head unit or a radio in it, and it was just rattling around in there anyway, it turns out one of our longest standing Patreon supporters, Kurt Webbles, started a company called Wend Labs, because he started making his own can-based displays basically with a 3D printed housing that he prints himself. And you know, he like designed all the electronics inside. He did this originally, I believe, for his R32 GTR. And he does also offer them for like R33, S13 and S14 Silvia, and GC8, all like direct fit. But this is like a universal one that should fit any single DIN setup. And the beauty of it is it uses like a 4-pin DTM connector here, and we can just make a cable that goes to our Haltech, and then we'll have all that CAN data boom right to these displays. So our Wend Labs triple gauge single DIN setup is installed and wired up, and it's working. So I downloaded their app. If I activate it here in config mode, you can then like tap on which gauge you want to configure, and you can choose from probably like, I don't know, 20 different gauges you've got here. Amazing that Kurt's done this. Such a cool product, and it's gonna be really helpful for us in this race car. Now we have a shift light because the factory tach only goes to 7,500 and we're revving this thing to 8. And we can have a more accurate readout on water temp and oil pressure, which is really valuable too. So thank you, Kurt. Go check them out at wendlab.com. One last thing in the interior is the rearview mirror is absolutely destroyed in this car. It's cracked, it's discolored, it's distorted, it's just all bad. So we could replace this with an OE mirror if we wanted to, but we really like a wider mirror, especially in a track car, because it gives you a wider field of view. Actually, it can even help you check your blind spots if you get a wide enough one. So we went to our friends at Import Bible, who offer this 280 mil wide mirror that just clips right on here. It works extremely well with just like spring tension, and we will have ourselves a nice track setup with a really wide mirror, which allows me to look at myself while I'm driving, and nothing I like more than that. And here we are out in the sunlight at Toronto Motorsports Park, and man, this car is looking so good. I love these forged Koenig F3Ss in this colorway. Really ties in nicely with the carbon accents that we put on the car, and Pete's magic sauce of blacking out this corner light, the turn signal, whatever the heck it was, looks great too. So man, this thing is really looking to business. All right, fellas, it's a nice day here at TMP. It's pretty mild, so good track conditions, I would say. It is kind of busy though, so we'll see kind of traffic I run into. And as we mentioned earlier in the episode, this first dial on the WenLabs gauge cluster has a gear position indicator. It's always going to just show N for neutral, but we're using it as a shift light. So as I approach red line, it should go yellow and then red. And that's because the tach in the car only goes to 7.5 and we're revving this thing to 8. So this will just give us a better indicator of where we are in the rev range, which is a nice little feature. Apparently we will be able to switch this over to show RPM too, rather than that N. But we're in a hurry to get it here and just shake the car down and see if we have any rubbing in the rear now that we've changed the ride height and put these slightly narrower wheels on with higher offset. I'm smelling is this Porsche in front of me. There's a really strong fuel smell in here. This guy does not know his way around the track. Should make for some fun watch for you guys here, as this guy does not know the word apex yet, but you know, it's giving you a wave by. Guy, it's like doing 40 on a racetrack. Talk about a Mustang driver. What the hell is going on here, fellas? Clunking in the rear. God damn it. I'm gonna have to go in and check to see what's clunking here, guys. The joys of shakedown laps and... Well, there you go, fellas. We're already a half second faster than we went last time. We're down to a 120.4, and this car is tantalizingly close to going sub 120, which I think it'll easily do, really. But because we still have that clunk in the rear, I don't want to keep beating on it because I'm worried that maybe we're bottoming the shock out. So as I explained to you in the car, you know, maybe we set too much chute travel, it didn't leave enough compression travel. We'll sort that out, but not today. So that is a wrap on the track action here today. However, we did tease you that there's a surprise coming, so let's cut to that now. That's right, everyone. It's time to make this thing look like a proper race car before we take it to GridLife's Circuit Legends Festival at Lime Rock Park. Applying the livery is our buddy Mike Martino from Design Shop React, where he does everything in-house from design, printing, and installation, and thanks to his deep roots in the drift scene and car culture in general, he knows exactly how to make a track car look rad. And of course, since this build is supported by Valvoline and we're going to hang out in their booth at Circuit Legends all weekend long, you know we had to rock the big V logo, having proudly been a part of Team Valvoline for close to 10 years now. The one sore spot we felt like this car still had is the taillights. I didn't love how bright and chromy they are, considering we've kind of murdered this car out. So just so happened a manufacturer reached out to us with these brand new taillights. These have never been on the market before. They sent us a set and we're gonna put them on here now and show them to you. But we actually think we're gonna sell them. So we'll put a link in the description below if you wanna buy a set of these for your NC. And there you have it, world's easiest install, and the fitment is excellent. And I really do like this blacked out aesthetic. And if you turn them on, woo, look at that, everybody. It's a little showy, but I love it. And if you hit the brakes, they are nice and bright. These are obviously LEDs. And it is a true, bolt-in solution. And I think most interesting of all is that there don't seem to be any brake light options for the NC on the market. So if you want these, go on eBay, see what you can find. But we really couldn't find anything. So we were really excited to find these and now be able to offer them to you is a bonus. So NC guys, hit us up at the link in the description below. And now it's time, since we're at the Valvoline booth, to spin the wheel and see what we can win. And since Valvoline's here with this beautiful booth where they have a spin to win, where you can literally win a bunch of different prizes. You've got tape measures, cups, fanny packs? Is that belt bags? They've got gloves, all kinds of cool stuff. So thank you very much, Valvoline, for supporting Grid Life. Now let's see what I win. Belt bag, or fanny pack if you're old like me.
We also call them beer holsters. Beer
holsters, excellent. So there you go, guys. So without further ado, let's go give you a tour of Lime Rock Park. And by that I mean the racetrack, because this is one awesome little high-speed, flowing, hilly track. I absolutely love it. So come for a ride. And here we go, my first session at Lime Rock Park since 2022, when we took my Integra Type R there and fell in love with the track and the Circuit Legends event. Having only turned a handful of laps here a few years ago, I definitely felt like a noob out there, relearning the 1.5 mile 7-turn track and getting a feel for the Miata's handling balance and grip level, not to mention getting over the intimidation factor of cresting the uphill jump before blasting dramatically downhill through the blind apex of West Bend, and then the very high-speed final corner, which has some subtle but important camber changes happening on entry and exit. After pointing this angry-sounding K-swapped FRS by, it was time for another lap, this fast and relatively short track giving you lots of reps to start to figure it out. You can definitely carry more speed into Big Bend than you might first think, since it's a very long corner where you have plenty of time and room to scrub speed and set the car up for the right line into the S's. Not that I'm even close to full speed or anywhere near the optimal line here. I'm still just figuring out the line in a rear-wheel drive car and adding speed little by little, since this is not a track to be taken lightly. Plus, with the car being in street mod against stuff like 600 horsepower Mark V Supras, we were completely outgunned, so there was really no reason to go full send. This whole weekend was really just about having fun shaking the Miata down at this historic circuit and hanging out with all of our friends and fans at the Valvoline booth. Damn, got no grip there at all. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed those few laps around Lime Rock Park here. What an amazing racetrack, and what an amazing experience to be out there with all these cool cars, having fun in our K-Swap Miata. So thank you very much, Valvoline, and thank you very much, Grid Life, for allowing us to come and be a part of this party. And I will say the car is very good. I was not very good. I just really struggled with confidence at this track. I never felt like I had the line dialed where I could really attack the corners and carry speed through like the 1, 2, 3 complex. And then coming down the hill, I was always braking very early. I was very late to the throttle. And really, this is a confidence track. It's very much like Mosport, which I would call one of my home tracks, where I have 1,000 laps. I can really be on the limit. But here, I don't trust myself. And frankly, I don't want to write off this beautiful, freshly painted NC. The car is too nice to try to prove a point in a class that we're not competitive in. So I wish I had gone 3 seconds faster, if I'm honest. I think this car could do around a 1 minute flat, but we're taking it home in one piece, and that is always the name of the game if you're just out here to have a good time. We're not chasing trophies or championships. And so hope you enjoyed seeing this car, getting a little bit of taste of the grid life, and man, who knows what's in the future for this car. You're gonna have to stay tuned to find out, but we do of course have lots of more cool builds coming. So make sure that you like and subscribe so you don't miss any of that.